Are we filming? Yes, we are. Okay, so let me get to the point, because I don't half waffle sometimes, but let me get to the point about what I'm talking about here. And it is to do with the whole discussion today is the ring spacings, the dimensions of the actual ring spacings of filofaxes in A5 size. So let me start with let me show you what I mean. Okay, so this is a filofax metropole in A5 size. I don't use this. I just keep it as a reference, if you like. And I'm so glad I have got one. Otherwise, I wouldn't really be able to explain what I'm doing. So, so these are the rings, okay, and this is the ring spacing for a standard filofax. Now, although I can't get them exactly close, and I'll tell you what I can do, which would be better, wouldn't it? Why am I making work for myself here? So let me take a standard filofax personal size sheet and then illustrate it here. So we have got the ring spacings at the top here are fine, but then we've got this discrepancy. We've got this discrepancy at the bottom, haven't we? Now, we all know about it, and you know, it is what it is. We accept it, don't we? And we accept this as a standard ring spacing that has been standard in A5 filofaxes for many years, probably from the word go. I don't know exactly when A5 filofaxes started to be introduced, but we are where we are, and so the issue is, of course, that right this second, possibly, maybe several people around the world are agonising. Should they go for an A5 format or a personal size format? Maybe have both, but they're not interchangeable because of the difference in ring sizes. However, just rather almost serendipitously, recently I acquired, a few months ago, I acquired this, which is a subject of a previous video. It is made by Amiga, as in Amiga watches, and it's their like agenda model, which will take A5 paper. Just to demonstrate, here we go. So this is an A5 sheet I've cut from. It's half an A4 sheet, so that's genuinely A5, and you can see that it works. But this is, and I had it for sale, and then on eBay, and then I decided to withdraw it because I had made a couple of mistakes with the subscription. And it wasn't. There were one or two faults with it that I hadn't mentioned, and so I honourably withdrew it from sale. And it's been sitting on my shelf for a while, doing nothing at all other than looking good, of course. But I had I'm not sure whether you can call it an epiphany, but I have been using this, or I have started using this as a largely because the cost of the paper, which is just the cheapest photocopy paper I can get, and I just cut it. So I convert 500 sheets of A4 can be turned into 1,000 sheets of A5, and although it's just the cheap paper, I'm hoping the last batch. I believe I try and get responsibly sourced paper if I can, But you just don't know, do you? You just don't know these days. But anyway, what do I use? What am I using this for? And this is crucial to understanding my way of thinking about this. So what I use this paper for is that loads and loads of sheets of A5, which it's downstairs. I've got a whole stack of these pre-punched and with a bulldog clip, and so it's basically a notepad, and I will jot down ideas for videos. Why do I need to do that? Well, I have a few filofax. Sorry, I have a few YouTube channels other than Flatability, and so I'm making quite a few videos. Trying to do at least one a day. I hope to do more, but it depends health-wise. I have good days and bad days. But the thing is, I jot down my ideas on A5 if I'm at home, but I also jot down ideas if I'm out and about with my Guildford Mini Extra Slim, and I also jot ideas down if I have a personal sized filofax on my nightstand, if you like, by my bed, and just occasionally I've actually got one in the kitchen as well if I'm cooking. It's actually up here at the moment. It's not even a filofax, but it is just a generic plastic folder with traditional personal compatible rings, and I have, so that's in my kitchen. I've even got one in the workshop. So I've got these filofaxes jotted around, and there are a collection of ideas that they're on different sizes of paper, mini, personal, and A5. But this is the thing. With my agenda, i.e. I've hit a brick wall here. Sorry. Let me rephrase. Okay, so my Amiga agenda. Have you noticed something? And I've mentioned this before, but this to me is a revelation. You can see here, I've got personal, so everything will fit in this binder. A5 sheets, personal size sheets, even mini size sheets, if you can see that, they will fit the lower 3 of the 5. Also, you could potentially use pocket inserts as well, but they would stick up a bit. But these fit within the confines of the dimensions of the binder. And so this is the thing: the difference between the filofax A5 ring specifications and this model is the fact that this model has the same ring spacings as a personal sized filofax, and that just turns night into day as far as I'm concerned with regards to moving paper around. When I don't go a bundle on worrying about whether I've got so many of these or so many of these that when you lean on here it's a bit of an undulating surface, because to be honest, by the time this is not for writing in. This is an assimilation filofax, by which I mean I'm writing it on my desk as a single sheet of paper on an A5 pad, or in another filofax, i.e. I'm writing in a personal size filofax or my Guildford Mini Extra Slim, and then I'm just moving those things to this binder. And although I've removed all my personal data out of here, this is generally stuffed full of ideas. Each idea for a new video, and I've probably got about 100 ideas that are now in the planning stage, as it were, for videos from different channels, as it were. They all go in here, and then I use dividers. I'm actually using they're over here, but you can see I've moved everything out. So these are A to Z dividers that originally came with this binder, and I just use those to separate out the different channels. But this binder is absolutely full of ideas for YouTube videos, and I just find it so useful to have one binder. I mean, I didn't know when I acquired this what the ring spacings were, but certainly I'm finding, although I'm certainly not using the A5 format as a specific, I'm not targeting it. I just do find that having a binder where it's personal size ring spacings, but the binder is large enough to accommodate A5 paper, means certainly as a desktop binder, rather than something that I carry in my rucksack, or obviously it's too big to carry in my pocket. This isn't my EDC, but it is something I do use every day as a place to post, if you like, all my ideas, at least on paper. I like developing ideas on paper, and I don't really generally follow scripts, but bullet points and ideas and research, crucially the research. It's quite nice to have the sort of an A5 page in terms of the real estate, and also I mean, each one of these A5 pages, because it's photocopier, is a fraction of a penny, whereas as we know, I mean, I'm not going to knock filofax, but shall we say the filofax paper from filofax costs it costs about 20 times more as it is, but when you consider the extra size of the A5 in terms of paper per square inch or square centimetre of paper, like for like, the running costs of this paper are, I mean, it's about double, isn't it? The running costs, it costs 1/40th of the cost compared to using filofax paper. So it's actually quite a useful format if you buy, certainly here in the UK, we buy we use the metric system, as it were, so A4, A5, A6 paper, etc. And the other thing that this is useful for, this particular binder, is you can just punch the holes at the bottom of an A4 sheet. So if you're out and you just have a single sheet of A4 paper and you are working on some ideas, you can just fold it slightly in half. You offset the folds so that it doesn't clash with the rings, and then you just fit it in and you can turn it over. So it's a binder that in terms of the ring spacings, that I find particularly useful, really useful. And you can't do that. You cannot do that with with the ring spacings in a filofax A5 binder. which is a bit of a statistical outlier, really, or a compatibility outlier. So, what can you do about this? Well, there's a long-term thing, and the long-term thing would be, it's not beyond the realms of credibility that someone from the filo-fax organisation, if you like, the FLB group, it might be at the moment, Seasons thinks, actually, that Neil, that Flatability guy, he's actually got a good point. Why don't we just, at the very minimum, offer A5 binders in the two formats, i.e. the A5, the hitherto standard A5 ring spacings, and also the personal size spacings. So that would be one suggestion long term that maybe filofaxes themselves could consider. But for those of us in a hurry and want that right now, there's two things we can do. We can seek out binders that have the personal size ring spacings. Now, I don't know which ones they are. Maybe there should be more, but I certainly know that if there's one of them out there, this is a agenda made by Amiga Watches. It can't be the only one. It cannot be the only one. Even if you can't find a binder with the personal size ring spacings, then you can certainly change the rings. If you have, shall we say, as an example, a filofax where it is riveted in so that the bolts go straight through, and there are many, even top quality binders. There, some of them have the it's an easier way to replace your rings. And I don't know. I mean, certainly, if one of you, or maybe more, can leave comments on this video. Is it possible that you can specify personal size rings in an A5 binder? I mean, I won't name any specifically in this video, but as we know, there are several specialist companies that can make you a custom binder with your own leather and different colours, etc. I wonder whether they can also, whether you can specify personal size rings in an A5-esque binder. I don't know, but that's something I perhaps should have shot off a few emails really before I made this video, but we are where we are. So it's open to discussion and interpretation, and then maybe even filofaxes themselves could think about this and maybe offer discerning customers a choice of formats. A5 binders with either A5 rings or personal size spacing rings. But I just think it's a really, really good idea that I chanced on somewhat by accident. But we are where we are. Let me know what you think, and I will go through the comments and answer you directly on this one. A bit of a waffle. I'm up to 18 minutes. It could have just been 5, couldn't it? But it's just the way I am. I apologise if it's a little bit too long. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. Until the next one, goodbye. Okay, so just as a postscript, because this is something I forgot to do, and actually, this is a point. If I do, I am inclined, because I don't have any script for these videos, sometimes I forget to add something. So if that is the case, then I will add something a little later, possibly in my Wednesday lunchtime midweek video, but I just wanted to add this one to avoid confusion. So 2 points. One is, I am aware, if you look, this is the A5, I am aware that it may have been designed so that you could fit 2 mini inserts, top and bottom, using the inner 3 holes, which is absolutely fine. If you use the bottom 3 holes in my A5 Amiga Agenda, then it won't go above the top of the binder. And if you do a similar thing with the top 3 holes at the bottom, it again won't go through the it won't appear top and bottom. But the most important thing is, I just want to clarify this. Yes, you could potentially, it will fit. You could use a personal size sheet in a standard A5 filofax, but as you can see, you would have a little bit of difficulty here, just here. Can you see that? You'd actually have to cut a bit off, because otherwise, I mean, it's all right there, but if you've got several of these, then the page is going to interfere with the top ring here, which it doesn't with the personal sized rings in my Amiga Agenda. So for that reason alone, I am personally keen on using an A5 binder if I wanted to use an A5 binder, and I have started using one, as you can see. I'm much happier doing that than using an A5 binder with A5 rings because of this issue with having to modify. No one wants to modify paper. I mean, that kind of defeats the object, doesn't it? But anyway, it works. So I just thought I'd let me put that back on the shelf. I just thought I'd add that just to clarify that one thing. Okay, we're going. Bye.